Hi everyone. So I figured it would be really good to do a follow-up video to my previous one that was about atypical anaphylaxis. So that was on Saturday. Today's Monday, and Monday the 18th, I think, of August. Yesterday, Sunday, I had a mild flare. Basically, I flushed. Treated it with primarily Benadryl, and it stayed with just flush. Today, I got up earlier than I'm used to, which is actually not good for me. I have a greatest tendency to flush when I get up. The earlier I get up, the greater tendency I have to not only flush but have a full-blown flare, which doesn't seem to make any sense. Like, I can stay up later and get up later and I'm okay, but if I get up earlier, even if I've had plenty of sleep, I am more likely to have a reaction. But so far today I'm okay. I was flushing. I was starting to flush, and I did start getting nausea. I treated myself with Benadryl, and actually I took some cannabis oil. I have a new one that I'm trying to see if it helps with the nausea. Here in Western Washington State, the air outside is awful. Like, I'm looking out my window right now, and it looks completely cloudy out there, and it's not cloudy at all, I don't think. It's all smoke from fires. It was the same last week, then we had a couple of clear days, and now it's the same again, and I think it's going to be like this all week. Now, luckily, smoke doesn't affect me too much. Some people with mast cell, it affects greatly. I did buy myself what's called a Vogue mask, so it's a like higher level of mask, and it will keep more stuff out. And I got one for my daughter too, my daughter that has mast cell disease as well. If I go out today when it's like this, when the air quality is bad, if I go out today or tomorrow or any other day this week and the air quality is this bad, I will wear it out. I've never done that in the past, but I think it's an important thing to do, an important part of taking care of myself. I also wanted it for flying and for walking through airports, and basically for walking through any areas where I can't control the environment well, because certain scents kind of trigger me. They can, at the very least, cause me to start coughing, and I don't like that. So, anyway, moving on. So Saturday, after I did the video talking about the atypical anaphylaxis, my reaction actually got worse. I did indeed get the tickle in the throat. I did get the feeling of like phlegm in the throat thing that I had mentioned. I took a lot of medication for the nausea, a lot of IV medication for the nausea that day specifically, and I fell asleep and I napped for a couple hours, woke up and was immediately just right back in major flare, and I ended up having to do 2 bags of fluids, which like back to back, which I hardly ever have to do. I had a big scare because as I was trying to start my second bag of fluids, my IV site, my PIC IV site, which is my long-term site underneath there somewhere, quit working, and I was just absolutely horrified because I needed medication, and I needed it like then, like not in 3 hours after I've managed maybe to get to the hospital, and maybe they've managed to find somebody to give me the medication. You know what I mean? So there's a reason I have my PIC and I do these things at home, and it's because when I need interventions, I need them now. I can't wait. I have to do it now. Anyway, I was it was a really, really bad day. It was a really bad day. And I was very depressed about it. And I was very upset about it. And when you have a really bad day like that, and I think this is true for probably everyone who has mast cell disease, or probably just any other chronic diseases too, where they have this bizarre, like, you can be absolutely, well, basically fine, and then suddenly you have a terrible day. The next day you don't tend to feel okay, or maybe for a couple of days. It's like a hangover. I've never had a hangover from alcohol or drugs or anything, but I call it like my flare hangover, or mast cell hangover, or MCAS hangover. Anyway, but I did some more reading, a little bit more reading, and watching videos and stuff about the whole, atypical anaphylaxis. And the problem, there's so many problems with it. The vast majority of doctors don't even recognize that it's anaphylaxis. Even the doctors that do don't know what the heck to do with you unless you come with your own plan saying this is what you do if I show up at the hospital. And there actually is such a thing. I am on a website, or a web group on Facebook, and one of the documents that I carry around actually in my purse is a notes for the ER doctor, what to do with me if I show up in anaphylaxis. But yeah, I was talking about how you have multiple body systems, and basically they say if you have 2 body systems involved, it's serious. And when I have those bad flares, I always have at least 3 body systems involved. Sometimes 4, sometimes 5 out of the 5 that they mention. But anyway, so it's a good thing to be aware of, especially if you have mast cell disease, that anaphylaxis for us can look very, very different, completely different to a, quote, normal anaphylactic reaction. Another thing I wanted to touch on real quick too is the concept of allergies versus like an allergic reaction and an allergic anaphylaxis versus a mast cell reaction and mast cell anaphylaxis. Even if you have the same symptoms, the same exact symptoms, they are 2 very different things. So regular allergies are generally to do with your immune system. They are generally, IgE is a component in the blood that basically dictates what you're allergic to. Okay? When they do skin testing on your back at an allergist's office, that tells you what you're allergic to using that system, using the normal allergies. It's the same with if they do blood work for you to see what you're allergic to. That's the normal allergies. That tells you 0, nothing, absolutely nothing to do with mast cell allergies, mast cell responses, or mast cell anaphylaxis. Because mast cells don't care about the rest of the body. They don't show up in skin tests. They might, but they probably won't. There is no skin test to tell you what your triggers are. And it's funny because we talk about triggers for mast cell reactions versus allergens for regular allergic reactions. But there's no blood test that can tell you what your triggers are. There's no skin test that can tell you what your triggers are. Not only that, but you often can't tell yourself because, I mean, I literally have no idea why I was doing so well for 2.5 weeks and then suddenly had such a bad day. I have no idea. I didn't do anything different. I didn't go anywhere different. The smoke was out there, but had been out there for several days by that point. how can you, you know, like people with severe allergies who know they have severe allergies can usually avoid those allergens, right? How can you avoid life? Because you don't know what the heck it is that made you so sick. And this is what happens. So what happens for so many people with mast cell disease, and this is what it is like for me. I have no clue. No clue what happened. I have no clue why I got so sick that day. And, you know, it's a crapshoot. Every day of my freaking life is a crapshoot. Maybe I'll be okay. Maybe I'll be really sick. And when I'm really sick, then I start to get worried because I may have to go to the hospital. And getting to the hospital has become even more difficult here. Because the ferries have been, I have to go on a ferry to get to the emergency room. Well, we can also drive around, but that takes like, trying to think, probably to the hospital I have to go to, 2.5 hours, something like that. Yeah. And even on the ferry, if we are really lucky, it's still an hour to the emergency room, which is one of the reasons why we're actually moving. We're moving off of Bainbridge Island because it's really, I'm not sure it's even safe for me anymore to live so far from the emergency room. I have not, as I mentioned before, I haven't actually like stopped breathing or anything yet. But the fact that I get new symptoms is a concern. And also should mention that too. That is really common. That your symptoms may change through time. You can have one symptom once and then never have it again. It is just crazy. It's the craziest thing. Anyway. Whew, I talked for a long time. As you can see, I'm obviously feeling better today. I straightened my hair. I have makeup on. Sometimes putting makeup on doesn't work though, because sometimes my body just goes, we don't like it, get it off now. And then I end up having like a full body reaction to it. So I'm just hoping that's not the case today, because I like the way I look way better with makeup on than without makeup on. Oh yeah, and the other, I was saying how my flare got worse after the video. So one of the things that happened, other than that, the feeling in my throat, was I got some edema on my face on this side. It's always on this side, and around my eyes. It was like mild, but yeah, it was there. Which probably means I should have given myself an epi shot, but I didn't, because I'm me and I just don't do things the normal way. And I'm still here. And still have mast cell disease, and I wish I didn't. I don't know. There's not much else to say about that. It's horrible. It's horrible. So I think we're gonna not move till December, but I've already started cleaning out my craft room, and I am gonna have some destashes. I hope to have 1 or 2 paper destashes, because I have a stack of 12 by 12s that I have gone through that I don't want anymore, and they are, so I'd like to get rid of those. I'm also hoping to do a brain tumor. No, I'm hoping to do a fundraiser for a brain tumor organization. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. And I'm also hoping to do some videos showing the albums that the albums that I've made, to show you that I actually do craft. I don't just like sell stuff on the internet. I actually do sometimes craft. Anyway, I know this is really weird, because right now my channel is like a little bit craft, and mostly mast cell disease. But that's kind of indicative of how my life is right now too. My life is like mostly mast cell disease with a little bit of grafting thrown in. Woo! On a really good day. I can maybe do something. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have found your way to this video because you have mast cell disease, please let me know. Say hi to me below, okay? Because us, as I call us, masties, need to stick together. We need to raise awareness. And I would love to know more people who have this disease, even though, as I always say, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But I know you're out there. And please don't hesitate to ask me any questions either. If you think, you might have mast cell disease, ask me about it. I'm reasonably knowledgeable about it. Okay, let's be honest. I know more than probably 90% of the doctors in this country, but that's just because 90% of them either have never heard of it or don't know what it is. They've heard of it, but they know absolutely nothing about it. So anyway, I'm really going to go this time. Thanks, guys. Bye.